Hello and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be using this tool, the Victorinox Swiss Tool X, and I'm going to be adapting trash items into items for survival. I picked up a few items on my way in and stuff that's been dumped around the woods over the years. I've also cheated a bit and I have brought 2 items from home, only because just in case I couldn't find them, but I actually could. I've got a glass bottle, but I did find 2 beer bottles and a Lambrini bottle on the way in, but they were a bit stinking, so to cut down on time I have brought that from home. Also got a plastic pop bottle, and there was plenty of them on the side of the road as well. Show you what I found. First thing, something that's been sitting in these woods for a couple of years, an old barbecue, and adapt it into a fire pit. An empty pop can, plenty of uses for this, boiling container, cup, fish hook. I've demonstrated that in my Victorinox locksmith video, so I won't be doing that today. An old car tyre, lots of uses for that, but I'm going to be cutting a piece off for fire lighting. Now, I was hoping to leave the legs on and cut them down so it stood off the ground, but one of them was in a hell of a state, so I didn't bother. That's the fire pit made. Quite an easy build, that. I better level it off a bit. That's levelled off. Now, one thing I have done is I've left a channel underneath so I can put wood, fuel underneath, dry it out a little bit. Not a hell of a lot of room there, but it's better than nothing. Now, ideally I'd like to knock a lot of holes in this. I'm not going to bother today. I'm going to see how well the fire burns in it first. It's sharp, but it's not razor sharp. So here's my first piece. I won't bore you with the rest of it because I need to cut quite a bit. Got a good handful. That blade cut lovely, really nice thin blade, perfect for this sort of thing. Right, I need to cut a few more twigs now as a base and some second stage kindling and make a little feather stick. Feather sticks always help. Well, that grind is not very good for feather sticks, so I think I'm going to take my hat off, fill it full of shavings. That should be enough for what I need. Bearing in mind the rubber is going to do most of the work. This is just to get the rubber going. And that's survival fire lighting, and this stinks. Well, now I'm going to cheat a bit and I'm going to put my kettle on there, because boiling water in a bottle, I'm better off with a nice big bed of coals. And I need a cup of tea now, because I've been here an hour. I've had my cup of tea and it wasn't the greatest experience ever, because I'm in a dip here. I'm right next to the river, and when the wind blows, it blows from all directions. Now it usually comes up the valley, which isn't ideal, seeing as I sit on the log over there. But a lot of the times, like a couple of days ago when I was up here with the bush box, I had no problems at all. It was burning great. I was using them dry splits and everything was wonderful. But because of my project today, I can't cut and split any big wood. I'm relying on what's on the ground and what I can gather, and that's making a smoky fire. Good job there's a stool here, and I've been switching between seats. And they don't tell you these things in survival books, or a lot of people got a glamorous view of things, but smoke is horrible. You do need to be able to move around the camp on a windy day. I don't think that firebox is ideal. I'm saying firebox, old barbecue. It's not ideal, but at least it doesn't leave ground scar. And when I leave, I'll turn it upside down, so it's always going to be dry. Things you've got to put up with. Now, I'm going to fill this bottle up and I'm going to attempt to boil some water in it. Now, I just realised something, and I forgot this. I was pointing my bottle upstream and noticing all the bits were coming in, and I thought, nah, point it downstream. Well, that's actually quite clear. That's not bad at all. Let's get it in the fire. Top off, we don't want any explosions. Right, that's in. 10:30. See how long it takes to get to a rolling boil. Now, ideally doing this, I'd rather have a fire on the ground and a nice big bed of embers to plonk the bottle in. But I haven't got that today. I've loaded some sticks up, help it on its way. Yeah, it's a shame there's no big bed of embers there. Well, we have got some there, but I think I'll leave it where it is. Hopefully it doesn't explode and put the fire out, but I am covered for all eventualities because I've got an alcohol stove with me, which I always carry, never use it. While that's slowly getting to a rolling boil, I'm going to talk about this multi-tool, and then I'm going to make some cordage. The tool, first of all, it comes in a very nice leather sheath, reasonably wide belt loop on it, and I know on the belt it does ride comfortably. Nice Victorinox emblem. The only thing I don't like about it is a Velcro closure. Velcro does not last forever. Nothing lasts forever. But if I was wearing this on a daily basis, using it in work, I think I'd give that Velcro 6 months. The tool. It's got all the usual things. But what struck me about this when I pulled it out of the box was the quality. It's a lovely quality. Nice click to it. Handle's nice and rounded where you need it. Haven't used it as a pliers yet. I was attempting earlier to bend that mesh, but it was too thick, it wouldn't go. The cutters are slightly scalloped to keep your wire in place. You probably can't see this. Tools wise, got to close it to get the tools out. We've got a file and saw, which I've already used, tin opener and screwdriver. Well, I'm not opening any tins, but from experience, Victorinox tin openers work well. A beefy Phillips driver, and what I think every good multi-tool should have, a scissors, and I'm going to use the scissors in a bit as well. Yes, a nice small headed scissors, plenty of leverage, and nothing flimsy on it. Tools lock, slightly fiddly lock, and if your hands were freezing cold, be a bit awkward. There was another one thing on here, tiny little slot head screwdriver. On the other side, oh no, this is a new one on me. It's a blade, a wire stripper, and a chisel. Yeah, chisel's nice and sharp. I have to find a use for that. Wire bender, bottle opener, large screwdriver. And a nice awl. Yes, that's a cracking awl. Yeah, that's a good one, I like that. Don't know what the hook's for. It may be for carrying parcels. I don't know. If you can enlighten me on that one, please do. And obviously there's a blade on it. I've shaved some wood, obviously, and I've cut some rubber. It was sharp, but it wasn't super sharp. No dings in it so far, anyway. It does not shave. It didn't shave when I started either, so I tried it at home. Oh, and obviously a wood saw with a lovely sharp back for scraping. Very nice sharp back. So that's the tool. My bottle is now brown with some steam coming off it. 10 minutes later. "14 minutes to get to a rolling boil, and it's spluttering out now, so I'm going to pull it off. think I'll leave it 1 more minute, and then to prove I'm not a big girl, I'm going to make a cup of tea out of it. What I think I'll do, I'll put it in my kettle to see if it's still clean, because the bottle is filthy, covered in soot. Well, apart from a few little floaters, the water's pretty clean, and I don't mind a few little floaters. Just pretend it's some tea leaves or coffee grounds. I've drunk my river water tea and I'm still alive. Cordage with a plastic bottle. Now, I first saw this trick with lads from Survival Russia many years ago, and to be honest, I've never done it, so this is going to be a first for me. You blow this up. Right, blown up. And it's basically, you need to cut a piece of wood, ideally a dead standing tree, thin one, because it will move about, but I haven't got anything around here, so I'm going to have to use this piece of wood I've got here. So I need to cut a section off it, and then I need to cut across in it and take one chunk out. Put your blade in, cut the bottle, and you basically just pull it off. There's quite a few videos on the tube on it, but I'm going to do it now and use this multi-tool. Now, sawing is going to take a while, unfortunately, because the saw is small. I do have a big folding saw with me, but I'm not going to cheat. Well, that took ages to do with this tiny saw, but that's no different to any other multi-tool saw, Leatherman, regular Swiss Army knife. They're all going to take a while. Well, that's basically it. What I do now, I cut the bottom off the bottle. I jam that in there as a cutting edge, and I just plonk the bottle on top. Well, that's a shame. The saw works fine, a bit small. The file and wood metal saw works fine as well, but what lets it down is the sharpness of the blade, and I think the angle of the bevel is a little on the steep side. So unfortunately, it's a bit of a fail really, because if the blade isn't good enough, then it's one of the main factors of a tool is a blade. That is a shame. Nothing that can't be remedied with a stone. Well, unfortunately I've run out of time now, and I'm going to have to go. My next thing I was going to do, I was going to attempt to make wire out of the tin can, but seeing as I can't cut a plastic bottle, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that technique on a tin can. So we leave it at that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. I've enjoyed my morning in the woods, and that's always the main thing. Bit disappointed about that. But then again, life isn't perfect. Right, I'll see you next time. Remember that thumbs up, it's always appreciated. And I do have another new multi-tool, which is a Leatherman Signal, and I swapped that for the free P4, which I broke, and I have to have a new one. And to be honest with you, I fancied the Signal a while back, and I got offered a swap with a guy I know, Chaz. So thanks, Chaz, and I will be doing a review on that in the future. Ta-da! I'm back. Well, this is a couple of hours later, and I'm at home. Now, when I was driving home from the woods this morning, it dawned on me, I should have talked a bit more about this. It's got a lot of flaws. It's got more than a blunt blade as a flaw. To be honest with you, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that you got to get your nails in to get the tools out. I like one-handed opening tools. This is my new Leatherman Signal, and where are we? One-handed opening, one-handed closing. This thing, as you probably saw earlier, every time I wanted to get a tool out, I had to stare at it and fiddle around with it. The lock is pretty secure on it, but I don't like this blade one bit. I don't like the fact it's quite thick, but it doesn't cut very well. That regular Swiss Army drop point on it, or whatever you want to call it, it's not got enough of a point to it. I just don't like it. It definitely blunted. Oh, I can feel it now on my nail after what I'd done this morning, and it wasn't a hell of a lot, let's face it. I just cut some rubber and made some shavings. That's all that blade really did, and now it's blunt. My intention was I was going to use this in work as well and do a second video on it as a daily tool. Well, I'm not going to bother, because the fact that I can't get it out one-handed in work, that's what I need. I use a Leatherman charge every day in work, and majority of the time one-handed opening to that serrated blade, because I cut a lot of stuff up with it. This thing, it's just too fiddly. It's well made, I haven't got any problem with the way it's made. I just don't like it. I don't like the fact that I've got to search for tools all the time and they're difficult to get out. So as far as I'm concerned, major flaw with this. This would never replace a charge, surge or wave. It's not in the same league. Quality wise, yeah, it is. It's lovely. But that's it. Design wise, no. Not impressed. Leatherman have come so far. I didn't like the P4. That was awkward. The main reason why I didn't like the P4 was because I couldn't one-handed open the serrated blade on it. So I didn't even bother taking that to work either, because it was no good for me, because that's the main blade I use, is the serrated blade. And if I can't take that out one-handed, there's no point in it. Very disappointed with it, and I will not be using it ever again. So to recap, it's a nice tool, it's well made, but the tools are too fiddly to get out. I think the saw is too thick. The scissors are pretty good. I can't grumble about the scissors. And the locks are a bit fiddly if your hands are cold and wet. Well, thank you very much for watching. I know I'm saying this for the second time. I'll see you next time. Thumbs up is always appreciated. Ta-ra. Well, that's the fire pit made. Pretty easy that. Yes, Veb. Start that again, because I was jippering. While that's doing, I'm going to explain. Start that again. Then I gotta light it. I'm not going to light it because I haven't made my feather stick yet. Tit, stop. Piss. Shit. Oh well.